Diamond was chosen as the material for the core because of its natural properties to be a superconductor of energy. Purely solid spherical diamonds can store an infinite amount of energy within them. So, given its natural properties, solid spherical diamonds act as a capacitor, battery, and generator simultaneously. So it can store, release, and generate infinite amounts of energy parallelly. This is why diamond was the chosen material for the construction of the core. We needed to replicate the natural capabilities of a sun using technology, and diamond is the best material in existence to properly meet the requirements in order to generate infinite energy while storing it and releasing it. The solid diamond core represents around 1% of the total mass of Earth, meaning its total weight is 10% of the planet's diamond core structure. So as you can see, there is this recurrent fractal and pattern in nature when you build things spherically, and it has to do with this ratio of 1 to 10. Right? It's scales of 10. So you add a 0 because 0 is a sphere and 0 represents infinity as the logician of creation. So when you understand this, which is something that I speak about in my mathematical writings, you gotta understand that when you are building infinity, you need to account for 0. And when you account for 0 and you can map it using the limits of infinity itself, meaning measuring the limits of a sphere and its electromagnetic energy and its infinite energy potential, then you can account for zeros and you can keep on adding zeros. And when you keep on adding zeros to ratios, then you grow on this fractal scale based on zeros and ones. So this is why when you're building a sphere which is infinite in nature, you have to have the representation of its own logic of spherical coil layering as representations of ones and zeros. This is why the original solid, pure solid diamond at the very core that I was referring in the previous video needed to represent 1 because it's the unit, is the beginning, is the unit, the first output of that sphere of infinite energy. And 1 is best represented in mass terms, meaning the weight, physical matter, as 1% of its own volume, its own total size, weight, mass, right? So of the planet, its entire weight, 1% of it is just this diamond at the core of it, a spherical diamond. It's gigantic. It's huge, bigger than entire countries on the surface of the planet. It's huge. Okay, so that's it. So then that, because it's 1%, but the mass itself of the entire core, the spherical singular fusion reactor that creates this energy infinite, that creates universes and everything live, it's around 10% of the whole planet. So because of that, then that means that the weight of the core itself, the first solid sphere at the very core of it, working as that generator of infinite energy, represents 10% of that entire diamond core structure. Because it works in these scales that I'm referring to, ones and zeros. And when you add 1 and 0, you can go from 1 to 10 to 100, which is the percentage of it. And you add that totality, and then you can scale that to infinity, because you're accounting for 1 and 0. And 0 is the logician, meaning the regulator of 1, which is the unit. And when you have those two as what you call in mathematics as the operators, then you can have, say, integrals. And with integrals, you can have infinite primes and infinite numbers and everything, right? The Riemann sphere and all these different things, different volume spheres, 1-dimensional, 2-dimensional, 3-dimensional, which is reality. And then I solved Riemann hypothesis. But because I did that, it's because I understand this fundamental core of mathematical principles in existence when you're talking about the sphere and the infinite energy of it. So this is why when we built the planet, we did it not only using the best, the most efficient material, which is diamond, but also its own dimensions, its area, its volume, spherically speaking, and its representation in matter, mass, and weight. Because it needed to be proportional to what it's doing, which is an infinite scale of creation, which starts with the sphere itself. And obviously you have a visual representation of these spheres within spheres. Okay, this is the video.